been a while since I've been able to do this. It is October 27th, 2023. I am in the George Washington National Forest in the Great North Mountain area near Wilson Cove, west side of Little Sluice Mountain, Half Moon Mountain, that kind of area. Last time I was on this particular trail, I was with a bunch of scouts and we had local flooding. Waits Run back there was over its banks and raging, and Pond Run, which I'm about to intersect with, was almost uncrossable in places, so we'll see how that turns out. I've been on the north side of this area, I've been on the south side of this area, down about Little Sluice. Today, after climbing up Pond Run, I'm going to go do some trails I haven't ever done before, and kind of do the middle. Technically, I'm also on the Tuscarora Trail here, headed south. It's unseasonably warm, like high 70s, and we're just past, I'm going to say, peak color here. There's more on the ground than on the trees, and maybe half and half, and the color is kind of on the brown side of yellow at this point, but it's still gorgeous, and I've got lots of elevation to do, which is certainly going to change things. My plan is about a 12-mile loop and just staying out one night tonight, so I can get back home for the Halloween festivities. I am planning a couple of excursions to go bag a couple of local peaks. If I can get to Mill Mountain and then bushwhack to the top of Sugar Knob, maybe Little Sluice Mountain, I'll do that. But it's already mid-afternoon, it's about 2:30, and late October the sun goes down about 6, so I might not have time to do any of that. We'll see how it works out. Been through a lot of life changes this year, and it's kept me busy doing other things besides getting out and doing this. So, hoping to get a much deserved and needed time and night out in a tent outdoors. Well, I've come up 600 feet. I've got another 600 feet or so to go before hitting a saddle and a plateau, get a chance to regroup a little bit. When I said I hadn't been doing any of this, that's a little bit of a lie. I have been, but there's been some stuff I can't film for a variety of reasons. This trip I want to share with you at some point, but I lost my GoPro on day 6 in the middle of a rapid in a Whitewater Creek in Maine. This was a wonderful trip, 9 days in the Maine backcountry. Saw more moose than people, so on canoes. So hopefully I'll recover that at some point. I've now got an excuse to go back to northern Maine. It's good to be back out here. The going is a little tricky here. It's very rocky, but there's so many fresh leaves down you can't see where to put your feet. I keep rolling my ankles if I go too fast. Alright, I'm on the saddle. This is as far as we made it last time. There was so much water on that trail, so many difficult creek crossings. It was all we could do, plus it had rained on us a couple of times. So we had camped over in there somewhere. And didn't quite make the loop, but it was a good day nonetheless. So as I recall, there's a cliff around here just over this edge. And I'm going to go try to find real quick, and I'll take a break. All right, new territory. Toward Mill Mountain and Sugar Knob. And it is about 4 o'clock. You can see the sun's getting low-ish. So I got about 4 or 5 more miles I can do before I really start to think about, before I need to start thinking about putting up a tent. I think I'm probably going to hit Mill Mountain. I'm not sure about the others. We shall see. Good old rhododendron tunnel. So I had the option back there, and I debated a bit on whether to take an old dirt road cutoff that went more or less straight up the hill to this next saddle, or to take the Tuscarora Trail, which sort of slabbed along the contours up to this ridge line and back. I took the Tuscarora. It's about a mile longer, but I didn't want to go straight up the hill. What I didn't count on is the Tuscarora is really rocky through here. There's been a few places where it's been going like basically across a rock slide, and with these leaves it's really tough to keep your footing because it's slick on top of invisible. So I guess place your bets and take your chances, but this has been undoubtedly a prettier way. All right, so do I want to go to Mill Mountain or not? Let me look at the map. Sun's getting low, and I got 1.5 miles this way down to Racer Camp Hollow, and then somewhere down that hollow is where I'm going to camp, but I don't know how far down in there I got to go. So let's see how quick. Maybe I can drop the pack and run up to the summit of this thing real quick. We'll see. I decided to risk it. It's only about a half a mile up here, so, and only about 100 feet climb, so, and it's on a dirt road, so I ought to be able to make it quick. Hope I'm not making the wrong move here. Well, this is it. The high point, not much to it. Just a spot in the middle of the woods, but almost at 3,300 feet here. It's becoming golden hour here, but I'm up above 3,200, and the leaves are definitely past peak up here. Everything's brown, if there's anything on the trees at all. These tall ones on this side of the slope seem to be doing okay, but you go around the north side and they're all gone. I heard at one point when I was living near Shenandoah National Park, the rangers were saying that the leaf change there is about 100 vertical feet a day. So that would mean that if you go up 700 feet, it's like you're going a week into the future as far as the leaf color goes. So elevation makes a big difference here. All right, pack's back on. It's 5 p.m. on the dot, and headed back south on the Tuscarora. I had mentioned earlier that I had been to the north side of where I am, and I'd been to the south side of where I am. I've been traversing new territory here for a while, but about half a mile I'm going to intersect Little Stony Creek Trail, which going south of here we did a loop with the scouts as a shakedown for Philmont. So that'll be familiar territory, going the opposite direction of where I've been before. But when I get to Little Racer Camp, or Racer Camp Hollow Trail, heading back northeast, that'll be new again. So pretty soon I'll know this area pretty well, I guess. Very much an old dirt road through here. Not nearly as pretty, but much easier footing and quicker going. All right, I'm continuing up that way, up to Tuscarora. Down this way is Little Stony Creek. Beautiful little creek valley. Lots of good campsites down there. Just saying. And a real good spring. Shoot, only about 100, 150 yards down this trail. Piped spring. So, good stuff. Continuing on. We've got kind of an alpenglow effect on the ridge across the way, and the sun has effectively gone down for me. That's going to get worse as I go down into this hollow. So I've been looking at a lot of these campsites along the way with a little bit of envy and saying maybe I should just stop there, maybe I should just stop there. But I'd really like to get down into this hollow far enough to get to some water. I don't technically need it, but it'd be nice to not have to worry about it, and I'd like, honestly, the sound of a babbling brook all night. I think that'd be great. So I think the intersection that I'm looking for is right around the corner. I'm going to hang a left and go down into Racer Camp Hollow, and hopefully before too long I can find water and a campsite. But it's a race against daylight now. So once again, leaving the road that I know and heading into the unknown. Tuscarora goes straight ahead and up that ridge, Little Sluice Mountain over the White Rocks. And then to the right is goes down to Little Schloss, which is also a pretty cool place. That's where we came from on that shakedown I was alluding to with the scouts. That was a really nice first night up on top of that ridge. Dry camp, but a rocky outcrop for Little Schloss. So I'm going this way, Racer Camp Hollow. Hopefully I can find some water soon. See what I mean? Lots of nice little places where I could set up a tent, but I want to keep going. I feel like I'm making a lot of bad decisions here. This trail is much less traveled. A lot more weeds, a lot less defined. There are some blazes, some red blazes, but they're dark red and they're kind of hard to see on the brown bark. But it is a trail. It's just apparently not as frequented as the others. Alright, good news. I just crossed a little trickle of water. So hopefully that means as soon as I get deep enough into this valley for the walls to start to flatten out a little bit more, there will be a creek involved. Oh, there's a little bit of water there too, seeping. So, yeah, hopefully right over here to my left, you can see it drops down. There should be water in that. Ooh, that's mud. Yeah, that's very wet. Okay. Flowing water. I don't know that it's exactly babbling enough for me to hear it, but it is a creek. So now it's a take what I can get or look for something better game. Looks kind of flat out here in front of me. I'm thinking down there looks to open up in the next quarter mile or something. I ought to find something good. If I can get away from the rocks and the blowdowns. This is what I need for camping in late October. A spooky tree. Man, if there aren't owls living in that, I'd be disappointed. Whew. I found a better one. This area looks beautiful, but it's all a swamp. Everything that looks grassy here and not rocky is actually muddy. So this is turning into one of those things where you walk along and you see something that may be passable, but then you look down ahead and you know, oh, that arrangement of logs looks perfect, like that's deliberate, like maybe somebody has established a campsite and better to use that than create a new one. I'll go check that out. And then that turns into a jumble of fallen trees. And not a good campsite at all. So I think I'm just going to have to find a flat spot and make do. It won't be the prettiest in the world, but we'll make something work. All right. Making dinner after dark. I'm not going to show you the cooking, but I'll show you what I make because it's really simple and it's one of my favorites. A couple of packs of shelf-stable chicken. I'm going to just warm those up. A pack of stovetop. And as many cranberries as I want to add to that mix. And it's just like a cup and a half of water to get the stovetop hydrated. And that's it. Get it to boil, dump it in, take it off the heat, let it sit for a minute, and it's like Thanksgiving in a bowl. So it's getting dark out here. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I got a bear bag hung, or I've got a rope hung for the bag. I think I'm good to just eat and maybe get in bed and read a little bit. There's no hiker TV tonight. There you go. Goodness. So I lied about hiker TV. Little fire. And I've got a near full moon rising over my left shoulder. So it's going to turn into a pretty night. I think I'll sit out here a while. This is the other reason I wanted to be close to a creek. So I can make sure I could get this completely out. Campsite turned out to be pretty good. I hiked a little over 8 miles today, which some of that was the run up to Mill Mountain and back. So I think I've got 4.5 or so, no more than 5 to finish in the morning. Beautiful. I think I'm the only one in this hollow tonight. I've heard owls on all directions, some other strange noises. I think I can hear the creek from here, but the katydids kind of overpower it. It's odd to hear katydids 2 days before Halloween, but they're there. So, yeah, looking forward to a good night's sleep. It's absolutely dead calm and crystal clear out there. The moon is gorgeous. So, see y'all in the morning. So here was camp for the night. Now that there's daylight to see it. Sun's not quite up yet, but it's getting there. You can see it's nothing too special, but you know, sometimes that's the great thing here, is being able to just find a spot big enough for your tent and set it up. The problem is this place is really rocky and there's a lot of down trees. And finding a flat spot that was free of both of those obstacles was kind of a challenge. I suppose that's the benefit of having a hammock. My brother swears by, you know, same sleep every night kind of thing, but I don't know. I roll over and toss and turn and roll around so much, so I'm not sure I could do a hammock. I woke up this morning on my belly with my hands around the top of the ground pad, so, you know, I prefer a tent. But anyway, good news is I'll be able to walk out of here this morning and there will be no evidence that I was ever here. So that's pretty cool. Leave no trace. Alright, I'm just about ready to go. It's just shy of 8:30 and I'm all packed up. I just need to get rid of my coffee cup. And my bear bag rope goes inside my coffee cup, so those two are the only things left to go. I did check the mileage. I got about 4.3 to get out and back to the car this morning. So, and a little bit of a climb back up this ridge behind me, a little bit, but I don't think it's going to be any big deal. So, should be out of here pretty quick. An early morning obstacle. I am on the road again. My thermometer said it was about 57 degrees. I smell like a combination of sweat and wood smoke, so, you know, all is right with the world. Once again, it is a dead calm morning, cloudless sky. Sun's still behind that ridge over there, so I don't have any daylight yet, really. Well, sunlight. The nice thing this morning was no dew. It's nice to be able to put away dry stuff. This time of year, it's often you wake up in the morning and everything's soaked, even if it was a clear night, but low humidity, so that worked out well. I did use just about every bit of daylight I could last night, as you saw. So, in one hand, I pushed it a little farther than I wanted to. On the other, I'm glad I got a little farther down the trail. I got a shorter walk out this morning. This is literally about 100 yards down the trail from where I started. Maybe 200. Maybe a tenth of a mile. Oh well. On the map, this is marked as an old road. Looks like more of a single track, which I don't mind. But turned away from the creek. A little bit of climbing here for a bit. And then I think it's all downhill from there. Now suddenly it looks like an old road. I never can get the GoPro out quick enough, but going along the top of this little field, and 3 turkeys just ran across and over into that corner. Interesting little change of scenery here, particularly with turkeys. I just got a very unneeded shot of adrenaline. I'm walking along here on this leaf litter, and I stepped on the end of a stick, which I didn't necessarily feel. This was like a, inch diameter stick, but the other end of it, maybe 3 feet away over to the side, lifted up and out of the leaves, and my brain thought it was a snake. Just immediately jumped. Okay, while I'm talking here, I'm at an intersection. Give me just a second, I'll get my bearings. This is depicted as a 4-way intersection. There's a sign right over there behind me that shows the path going up the hill clearly. And there's a road that continues there clearly from where I came from. But the 4-way is not obvious. There's just this little field. So I think this opening here is where I want to go on the old mail path. Let me head down here and try to see if the path actually continues through this field or not. It looks like somebody's walked here. Yeah, this must be it. Okay, old mail path. Now cutting back downhill into Wilson Cove and pick up the road that I came in on. Hey, I finally got the sun above the horizon, or above the ridges, and shining on me back there. It's 9:20. I'm seeing the sun for the first time. Back to my snake story. I stepped on that stick, and that stick raised up through the leaves and made all this noise and moved, and my brain went totally into protection mode. I thought it was a rattlesnake or something, and just immediate shot of adrenaline to the heart and the brain. Jumped and then laughed at myself because it was a stick. But while we're on the topic, wildlife, I saw the turkeys a minute ago. I didn't mention it, but there was a big old buck and a smaller buck that I saw right when I got to the top of that cliff overview yesterday. They were underneath and ran off through the woods. Woodpeckers. Last night I was surrounded by owls. Sounded like a great horned in one corner, 2 barred owls down the valley. I heard something screaming this morning, maybe a fox. Not really sure. It was kind of an odd noise. I can't reproduce it. But the weirdest thing was there was this particular pine tree last night. Whenever I walked near it, it was normally to go to the bathroom, but whenever I walked near it, up in the tree, like from 3 or 4 different spots, I just heard this high-pitched squeak, whistling sort of noise. It was sort of like the Dilophosaurus from Jurassic Park. If you pitched it up about 3 octaves, it was just kind of a, but very faint. I mean, not extremely faint. I could clearly hear it. And really high pitch, like 3 octaves above that. Squeaky almost. And it was from multiple places in the tree. Sort of reminded me like baby birds chirping, but wrong time of year, and they were in different spots. And it only happened when I got near that tree. So clearly something was observant of me, watching me, aware that I was there. Because it would stop as soon as I'd go a few steps away. No idea what it was. No idea. If anybody else has ever heard that or know what I'm talking about, please let me know. That was strange. That's what you get from camping out near Halloween and among the spooky trees, I guess. But crazy. I'm back to rocky footing again. I just turned my right ankle, so they're both equally now stretched out and hurting a little bit. That kind of stuff worries me being solo. I normally don't do this solo. There's very few times when I'm actually out full pack, full load overnight in the remote areas, but just because of so many things can go wrong so quickly. You know, medical certainly, but gear issues. You know, it's safety in numbers, right? It's easier to be buddy system and have other people. But I just kind of needed to get away and be alone for this weekend. I thought about inviting some people to come with me, but it was just, I don't know. I just needed to get away. I needed some solitude, and that was good. I've also made some concessions. This is the first time I've ever used one of the little inReaches. Never really felt the need for one. I normally have GPS tracking on me just because I'm a map geek and I want to see where I went and what I did. But this is a concession for my wife, for others, you know, so that I can keep tabs. I can let them know, they can see where I am, make sure I'm still moving, I'm still alive. You know, it just gives me a little bit longer leash to come out and do this stuff. Not that I need permission, but it's you know, just out of respect for everybody else's concern for my well-being. And it's a good safety net, you know. It'd be, I wouldn't say silly anymore to do stuff without this, but with this kind of technology available, you know, it seems like it's certainly safer to have it than to not. It's just another tool in the toolbox. So anyway, that gives me a little bit of an opportunity to stay in touch if I really had a problem, and that, you know, lowers the overall risk. That's the bottom line. So, little creek here, little wet spot rock hopping. Yet another habitat, pine forest. It's interesting to me how these things change. Like, I'm not, you know, mentally I'm not in the mountains anymore. Just the environment is not that, right? And now I'm in the woods. You know, you go up 1,000 feet or so and everything's wild. Everything's trying to hold on for life. You see, you know, you'll see some big old growth trees, but you'll also see, you know, as you go higher, you see the oaks get stunted, they're twisted, battered by wind and snow and ice, and the rocks are cracking and coming down. You know, it's a different feel, right? Everything's just holding on up there, and it's still vibrant. Like, everything's moving all the time. There's stuff in the underbrush, squirrels and birds and things falling off the trees, and it's just constant noise, but it's and wind across the ridges, but it's just more raw, I guess. You get down into the lowlands like this where it's flatter, and you know, the trees they're different. Certainly not old growth anymore. This is you get kind of the scrubby trees, the ones that have only been around for 50 years or so. Occasionally a big one like this one here I'm passing on my right, but you can tell, like, this was farmed at some point, or somebody lived here at some point, and the landscape just has this feel of human habitation, human cultivation. Stuff has happened here and altered the landscape. It's just different, you know, it's subtle, but it's different. All right, home stretch, I think. I'm back on Wilson Cove Road, I think is what it's called. Waits Run Road, maybe. Not much of a road, as you can see, but enough. I'm parked, I think, about a mile further along here. Wilson Cove's over that way. Waits Run is that way. I think I'm sort of paralleling the river. All right, I think I'm going to call it there. Looks like my loop is really about 11.5 miles. I threw in an extra mile up to Mill Mountain. Beautiful area. This little road walk is probably my least favorite, but even then it's pretty. And with the leaves falling and the colors are more vibrant down here at the bottom. And I'm walking alongside Waits Run here, which is burbling along, and it's you know, just kind of a lovely companion. I only saw 5 people on this trip, but you know, Friday night, late October, 70 to 80 degrees, height of fall color, and I only saw 5 people. 3 of them were backpacking. I saw them going up Mill Mountain as I was coming back down, and then I saw a couple and a dog this morning just setting out on a day hike. Otherwise, just me and the animals. So, beautiful loop here in the George Washington National Forest, right alongside the Virginia-West Virginia border, outside Wardensville, West Virginia. Great North Mountain area. Pond Run, Waits Run, Spruce Knob, and Racer Camp Hollow. So, that's it for me. I've just got to drive home. Get out there.